I'm in so much pain. Hey, you got a drink? Oh.
Hey, calm down. You're late. Make your way upstairs. Tim is waiting for you. He's coming up.
So, you're the new guy. I'm Tim. Faye says you're good, and if she trusts you, I trust you. Follow me. We'll give you security clearance once I show you the works. It's not much, but it's cozy. This is the briefing room. This is where we brief the entire world when it comes to new products and other cool bits and bobs. Take a look around. I see you met Quake. Like yourself, he doesn't talk much, but you'll get used to it. The talking, I mean. Come on, take a seat. Quake, press the button, please. So, what do we call you?
Mark.
He speaks. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Oh, before we start, I think this belongs to you.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Looking good. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of RedWolf TV. I'm Tim, and today Mark, my good friend, will be joining us. If you don't remember him, he helped me with the AM013 video quite a few years back, but now he's helping me with the best or most popular division guns and their airsoft counterparts. Now when I say best, I'm thinking about the more affordable ones. So we're just going to jump straight into it, and the first thing is the pistols, and there were only two versions that we could think of that were the most popular ones, and we're going to start off with the 1911.
So in 1911, 7 shots in the game, good amount of damage, not a lot of DPS, but all in all, pretty fair pistol to use. Also very iconic, you can't forget the look of this gun.
Especially when it's competing against the other one. Now the only reason why I chose this specific version, the KWC, is because there are many other companies out there that use KWC as the OEM. So this is the base model, no markings, full metal. It feels great because the recoil is awesome. From the CO2 magazine, it doesn't have the same amount of round as most pistols out there, but you can expect amazing FPS, around 420 to be specific, and there are plenty of aftermarket parts. You can get a threaded outer barrel for this, of which RWA have released recently, so you can add a suppressor to it. Next up is the M9.
This is the M9, the first pistol you get in the game. Also, you will find this pistol named version, the Damascus. Great gun to have. One of the perks it has is applies a bleed effect to the enemy. Of course, it's percentage wise. So make sure you go grab a couple crafting materials, grab the gun, great gun to use.
It's not necessarily the best one there, but it's definitely iconic, especially in the real steel world, the movie world, and the airsoft world. Nobody gets this anymore because it's more of a die-hard gun. Something that you would have gotten probably back in the 90s, but I decided to bring this out, the SOCOM Gear version, because of its full metal body. You can expect a decent amount of power to it, as well as its weight, and this is the threaded outer barrel version, so you can get a suppressor, but the good thing about this version is that it already comes with a suppressor, which is fantastic. Next up, we have on the line our SMGs. Now, they're two very popular items, but the first one we're going to talk about is the MP5A4.
The MP5, this is the first gun you get to use in the game of the Division. Great gun to have, very stable. SMGs are great right now. It's the meta of the game. You've got to pick one up. It's one of the more sought after ones. You can find it in the Dark Zone vendor, in the church. It's in DZ06. It's the Navy version. That's the one to get. Throw on an extended mag and you have a DPS, critical damage, critical chance machine.
Now the other problem with this is much like the M9, it is not very popular. More popular back in the 90s, as I would have preferred the railed version, the collapsible stock, and this is the AEG variant by VFC. The great thing about this is the burst fire mode you have in it. It's just those shorter, compact SMGs that do perfectly well, especially in Division.
Exactly.
Next up, and now our most favorite, is the Kriss Vector.
The Kriss Vector, probably the single most iconic gun to this game. It is a great gun to use, great damage, great DPS, very good rate of fire, as well as very high stability. The best gun that we could recommend for you to use right now in game that is not named.
You may want to craft it 5 or 6 times just to make sure you get the right talents, but we only recommend this because we both run one.
Yes.
So this is the Airsoft variant, the gas blowback KWA, high density polymer, metal internals, great durable quality. The accessories we've applied look amazing. It only increases its badassery level. And it's got also a 2-round burst, which feels like 1 round once you give it a go. And it's got a very high rate of fire in full auto. Unfortunately, you can't find these anymore, especially on our website. It's been discontinued for obvious reasons. You could probably get it secondhand, but who would be crazy to sell one?
I don't know.
Exactly. I've also reviewed the KWA Kriss Vector. If you haven't seen it yet, I suggest you click on the link which is currently on Mark's face. The great thing is there will be an AEG version of this sometime soon. Not entirely sure though. But thank you for that. Now we're going to move on to the rifle section. We found that there were 3 popular variants and this is one of them, the ACR.
The ACR, another great looking gun that you can find in the game. Very balanced, good DPS, good damage, good stability, very good gun to use, I would say. Very easy to find as well. You can find it in the vendor at your home base, as well as other vendors in and around the Dark Zone. Easy to get a hold of gun, good looking, good using.
So this variant is the KWA version, also very high quality polymer, great internals, a fantastic magazine. If you add the right accessories to it, it's only going to increase its looks. It's a little more difficult to manipulate than your typical 5.56, but I think this does a bang up job. Now this is the tan version, the black one did come out before that. If you haven't seen that review, I suggest you click on my face right now. But what we have next is the SCARL.
So, SCARL, as you can see right here, very similar to the ACR, but very nice. One of the more famous versions of the SCARL that you can find in the game is called the Caduceus. Rest in peace, Bullet King. Great gun, really nice perk that it has. Fills up your skill power really quick. If you can get it, great. If you don't have it yet, good luck. If you have it, I'm very envious of you.
This is the first time we're showcasing a WE product. This is the WE GBBR SCARL, and it looks fantastic. It's got a great weight to it. The metal quality is pretty decent. If you add these particular accessories to it, it's beautiful looking. The stock is still a little iffy to adjust. It's just one of those 5.56 that would impress you out on the field. The great thing is they came out with a SCAR H recently. If you haven't seen that review, I suggest you click on Mark's face. Now the next item, I believe we both think is the most popular rifle in game, and that is the M4.
The M4. This is the gun that the 2 previous guns were built on top of. And the M4 is probably one of the first guns that you'll find in the game, assault rifle wise. One of the assault rifles you want to look out for in the M4 variant is the Liberator. High end, you can get it from the special blueprints vendor that you can find upstairs in the tech wing. Great gun to use. Good rate of fire, good DPS.
And also, very easy to use in-game, especially when it comes to recoil.
Exactly.
Now, when it comes to airsoft, GHK have done a pretty bang-up job, especially when it comes to gas blowback M4s. Everybody knows the GHK M4. It is fantastic. There are many different variants of it, such as the length of the outer barrel. There's a key mod rail version, and you can get a blank receiver, so you can do your own markings, Cerakote it, and you can make it look as stunning as you want because there's so many aftermarket parts for it. Something as simple looking as this is pretty fantastic, and there's so much you could do to make it even better than the original version. Now that we can move on, we're going to go straight to the Marksman rifles. What we believe to be the best is the M14.
This is the M14. In-game, it's called the M1A. This gun is actually pretty good, very reliable, great gun. It's one of the first ones that you'll find on your way to level 30. After you get to level 30, keep one, get one. I would still like to have one. I accidentally dismantled mine. One of the biggest mistakes I made in the game, actually.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
There is the SOCOM version to this, a shorter outer barrel version, if I'm correct.
Yes, there is.
Now, this airsoft variant is from Tokyo Marui. Now, the external quality may not be there, but what you find in metal is actually rather decent, and internals is what you can get as standard Tokyo Marui. It is perfectly reasonable to hit those ranges at using only 290 FPS, but listen to that charging handle. And that is a Tokyo Marui. Not so
Sounds
bad.
good.
If it only had a top rail for your scopes, that would be pretty great. If you do some custom work to it, remember, you do lose a little bit of the Tokyo Marui magic. But it is not the best sniper rifle in game. But what we find the most unique sniper rifle, for sure, is the SRS.
This is the SRS A1. You can find this one in-game. Bolt action rifle. The reticle rezooms back when you aim down sights really fast. You want to look for guns like this with a perk that applies either bleed damage or burn damage on the initial hit. So this is a great gun. Great gun. Highly recommended.
Now what we have here is actually relatively new to the airsoft market. There are 3 different variants of this. This is the 26-inch version in black. It also comes in tan and OD. There's also a 22-inch and a covert option. Right now it comes with a metal outer barrel and receiver with a polymer body and a 30-round mag. This thing is rather unique because the pressure of the bolt action is actually pushing it forward rather than back, and it has 2 adjustment dials. So if it does sway over to the left, just adjust one side and you can hit bang on in the middle. This is definitely very unique, and I've already done a review for it. If you haven't seen it, I suggest clicking on Mark's face. That is all we have for sniper rifles. Now it's time to go onto the LMGs.
The big guns.
And one of the biggest LMGs in game is the M249.
The M249. LMGs in the game right now, they're not in too good of a place. You know, hopefully the update would have fixed that.
Hopefully.
But what you really want to look for perk-wise is something that increases the stability of these guns. Yes, you have a lot of rounds to suppress the enemy, but due to their low base damage, the DPS can never be pushed too high. So unless they do something, they can only be a fun gun to use, not really your go-to gun to use in-game, sadly.
The thing is, in airsoft, this is a fun gun to use. 3,000 rounds, 400 FPS, half metal, half plastic body. This thing has got a bit of heft to it. This is something that a support user would most likely need. Laying waste to the opposite team. This is a fantastic weight to it. Do you mind putting it on the ground because we need to get its competitor?
No problem.
This here is one of my favorites, is the RPK.
The RPK in-game, you can find, of course, the classic version, but of course, there's a high-end variant with a name called the Pak-Han. The Pak-Han is the all-gold version of the RPK, decked out in flashy gold. One of the signature perks that it has is it melts through armor like nobody's business. Great gun to have, great support gun to have, and it's relatively stable for it being an LMG.
Now, the only gas blowback version of this is by GHK. I actually reviewed it recently. If you have not seen that review, I suggest you click on Mark's face. But what I can tell you right now is that there are a few things wrong with it, such as the length of the magazine. I wish I had a higher capacity. The rear sight needs to be corrected. The front flash hider needs to be corrected. Apart from that, it has a pretty decent build. The wooden furniture, the steel body, it feels fantastic. At ranges of 30 meters, at pretty high FPS, this is a great gun to have in-game. But that is all we have when it comes to LMGs. Next up, are shotguns.
Yay!
That yay was very sarcastic. Is there a reason why?
Well, shotguns are just not a very viable gun in the game right now. Though it is one of my favorite classes of guns to use, to me, they're the most fun.
Yes. But unfortunately, the two most popular ones in-game we don't have in the airsoft world, which
Sadly.
is why we only had to use the M870. There are two versions of that right now, and this is the Tokyo Marui version, and that is the APS version that Mark has in his hands. Now, is there a reason why it's not very good in-game?
Well, the reason why is their pump action, so your rate of fire is relatively low. Also, the reloading speed is quite low. Also, your distance of damage is also very close, so you have to be really up close and personal to use these. The only really viable time you can use like one of these pump action shotguns in game, personally, is when you're literally blind firing out of cover.
Great. Now, the airsoft variants are actually not so bad. There are two versions, like I mentioned, the Tokyo Marui and the APS version. The APS version I would suggest for competition shooting. It also comes with a shell catcher and it fires 12 BBs and uses CO2. The Tokyo Marui version comes with a gas tank, which you could use up to 100 times, and it comes with its own shell for 30 BBs, which you could shoot either 3 to 6 shots, which is not so bad. It is really good for skirmishes. It could reach out to about 40 meters, which is not so bad, using 0.25 grams for a 6-shot shotty. Unfortunately, this is all you can get in game. Fortunately enough, I've already reviewed both of these products. If you'd like to see the Tokyo Marui review, click on my face. If you'd like to see the APS review, click on Mark's face. And another great thing is, we have each and every single one of these products on our website at www.redwolfairsoft.com. So thank you so much, Mark, for taking us through all the Division guns
Thanks
that you
for having
think
me.
or you deem popular. And hopefully we'll have him in another episode. If you guys enjoyed having Mark around, let me know in the comments section below. See you guys on the next episode of RedWolf TV. Porn Stash out.